A lesson that I learned this week, but before I get started, I'm going to check and make sure that you can hear me. I'm streaming to multiple locations right now, and hopefully, once this has ended, if you're watching this on the replay, then I'll be able, or hopefully, we'll have been able to have trimmed the first part. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We'll see. Um, let's see. Let me know where you're coming in from. Would love to know, if you're local to, maybe Texas, maybe you're somewhere else in the world. Okay. All right, cool. I can hear myself. Awesome. All right, so let me bring up my notes, make sure that I am staying on track and be respectful of your time. Okay, let's get started. Hello and welcome. If you are a software developer of any skill level, you know how frustrating it can be when right out of the box, somebody's code doesn't work. No explanation, just broken. Now, while you may have no ability to create change in a product that you've purchased, this is not necessarily the case with open source code. So, what can you do about it if it is, in fact, open source? In today's Process Heart training, I was going to share another cool Python programming trick regarding visualizing your Python code, which, if you'd like to see the other ones that I've done for that, definitely check out this website right here, processhart.com/Python visualizers. This is not visualization, like where you take data and make like really cool graphics and like that kind of type of thing. This is how some really cool Python packages you can install in your environment to see what's actually going on behind the scenes, like what's happening at execution time, how many times you're hitting this function, or what's being passed back and forth between your functions. So definitely check out that website if you want to see those. I was going to give the third one of a series for it. Thank you, Katie Nuggets, for that tip of some beautiful pieces. But I gotta show you what happened. It didn't quite happen. It wasn't quite as smooth as what I did the first two videos. But let me make sure that bring that up. Yes. So before we find before, okay. Well, actually, no. I already said that. That's all right. I'm like I said, I'm checking through my notes. Yes. Before I get started and share with you the meat of today's program, I did want to make sure to mention that I've opened the doors to my Python Basics Bootcamp. It is 4 weeks of training, 2 months of programming mentorship, and you can find more information over at processchart.com/Python bootcamp. Right now, it is a super early bird pricing. It will go up, I believe, March 7th, and classes start on the 1st. So, oh, thanks, Dyson. Um, wanted to let you know that that is here, and apparently I can't hide that from my site right now. Sorry. Oh, there it goes. Sure. Yay, it's gone. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you now what I was talking about before. Sorry, I had some more notes here. Okay, cool. I'll skip that. It's cool. Let's talk about this because this is just awesome. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so what you're seeing here on the left-hand side is going to be a window that pops open from this particular Python module package. There we go, package. So it's called heart rate, and it uses one of the packages I actually used in the series already, Snoop. It does some really cool stuff, and you can see part of it on the left-hand side in just a moment when I run it for you. But basically what it is it's very simple, just like the ones I did before over at um, that website right there. um, so basically what it is once you do a pip install of heart rate, and then you put at the top of your code import heart rate, and then you use this underneath that. So it's basically a function within this module that's doing some type of trace, and you can check it out because it's open source. Again, I have the link at the very top right here, so you want to check it out. Um, So the rest of this is a piece of code that I've adapted a little bit from this URL right here. So thank you, Koyantron 1401. I hope I said that correctly, for the initial piece of this. And basically what it is, it's creating the function of the factorial. So when you run this code, which if you're using PyCharm, if you right click on the tab where your code is and you go to open in terminal, it will open up a new tab down here. And what it does is it opens it up inside of the folder that the file you've done the right click on is in. So if I were to do something like, I think it's dir for directory, you'll see the different files that are in said directory. And so what you'll do for now for this one is Python heart, and you can just partial type and press the tab button for it to autocomplete. Enter. It'll take just a quick moment while it goes through whatever it's going through. And so the very first thing that you see is this is a development server, do not use in production environment. That's the most interesting thing that I noticed at the very beginning of using this was, wow, this is not to be used production environment. That's, I'm curious about what that means. And this is partially why. So it looks like the currently publicly available download of this code has some issues. Now, what do I mean by that? It looks like it's working, right? It brought up the web browser that it's going to show. These blue lines are showing how many times that line of code has been hit. So as you can see, the very first thing that happened was the if dunder name is assigned the value or is equivalent to main, meaning you're running this as a program. And then it starts while true, so that's gone through once. Try this, num int, what number would you like to see a factorial of? So it's called that function, right? It's gone through it. And if we just do 3, because that's only going to give us like 3 rounds, press enter, you can see that it's starting this heart rate, like how many times it's gone through these things, and that it's done this line 3 times, right? So the lighter the blue, it means that it's the most recent call. And it shows the factorial of 3 is 6, which that is what it is. So that means it hit here, which you can confirm because it shows it right here as well on the trace, but it doesn't end. And what's interesting about this is that if you look, it has attribute error. Call object has no attribute first token. Well, how do you know it's not my code? How is it, how come it might not, maybe I did a problem, or maybe it's my issue, right? Well, this code is actually the only difference between this code and code that was working with a prior video of mine is using heart rate with it. That's the only difference. So the other way you can tell, other than the traditional IT tech troubleshooting, right, is, hey, the very prior line is talking about there's a problem in this file that's run. So site packages heart rate core on line 55 in highlight stack frame. We are attempting to assign to start the value of node.firstToken.start index 0. So this attribute error is happening because this call object does not have a first token attribute. So what does that mean for you? You've just downloaded this, you tried to use it on your code. Oh, it's so frustrating. What are you to do? Oh, woe is you. Here's how to fix that. You can either, one, contribute and look at the code and say, hey, I'm going to fork this code, which if you are on this particular blog post, processheart.com/open source, I'm sharing some more information as a series in that as well, so be sure to check that out. If you're on my blog right now, there's a little pink bell at the bottom left, and if you click on that, you can subscribe to different updates on your mobile device. So whenever there's an update, you'll get from me a mobile notification of, hey, there's a new programming training out, or a new digital marketing training out, or hey, I just updated this one particular post that might be of interest to you, right? That's a way to be notified of that. So this open source has more information on this, but basically, if you want to go ahead and write code, you can. But if you want to contribute to open source without writing code, you can do what I did with this particular issue. So what did I do? I simply went to the website of this open source GitHub site, which is right here. And oh, I haven't linked this yet, but I will. This heart rate test is actually on my GitHub. So if you go to uh, my site on GitHub /Prosperous Heart, under my projects, play code heart rate test. This code that I just gave you is here, and so you can totally use that for your own use and testing. But the website is there. So if you go to this URL, GitHub / thank you, Alex Mojaki. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. If you go to their heart rate repo, you can actually check out that code. So first of all, I really like their README. They have like a give here that shows you what it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to act. They also show the stack trace, which is great because as you're looking at this, you can see what's happening inside your code. So anyway, once you're in here, you can go to the exact same places that show that file. So when you're in PyCharm, and so it shows heart rate, this core.py file. So if we go into the heart rate folder and look for the core py file, we can actually go and see what's there. So if I wanted to, which I haven't yet, but I might because this is, I'd love to get this fixed so I can finish the other video in this series for Python visualizers. You know, I'd like to get that going a little faster. But if you wanted to, you could come in here and do the same thing, right? You could fork from GitHub, which I have on the open source page. I have a link to my training that I did on that. So you can fork this, make the fix, and then say, hey, I'd like to do a pull request and make this change because it's broken right out the box. And that could be the way you contribute, or you can do what I did, where I went and made an issue. So on the top area right here, there's code, which is hidden by the fluffy clouds of melon. And then issues right here. When you click on issues, you can see that there is 4 current issues that are open. And this is the one that I've opened. That is first of all, I use the title of or rather the line of the error message, because I believe that when you are Google searching, you can find this exact pull request by simply doing stuff like that. So I have done that for this one. Oh, it looks like there's a couple comments. Hey. And I went in here and I said, hey, here's the code that I used. I'm using Python 3.10. Took a screenshot of the very last few lines that it was telling me there was a problem. Gave the error message for at least one of the iterations, because this went like 3 times or 2 times, because it did a factorial of 3. And then I'm like, hey, what am I missing? So it looks like, there's an answer. So I will read this later, so I'm not wasting y'all's time while I'm going through this. But as you can see, I've contributed to say, hey, if somebody else had the same problem as me, they can now find this, they can see an answer, and I can go see why sleep caused that problem, because it should be done by now. It's only 0.5 seconds. So anyway, that is something that I learned. 2 things I learned this week, right? One is that it wasn't necessarily the code, but this was an opportunity to say, hey, here's how you can contribute to open source without writing a single line of code. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you found value, please do tap the heart wherever you're seeing this. This might be on YouTube, and I might have additional videos linked in I forget what they're called all the time. Whatever they are, the end credits, the other things that pop up around here, and feel free to find out more about that. So I talk about digital marketing, I talk about programming, anything that I feel has benefited my life that might also help you in yours. So Thank you so much for sharing your time and energy. And if you are interested in that Python basics training, again, uh, prices for a seat do go up March 7th, I think. It's been scrolling around there. They do go up, and so get your seat now. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next one.